Commentates Studio F. It's that time of year again when all the freaks emerge from backstage. Their life in the spotlight is short-lived but vibrant, and the first to appear is the hybrid species, the Mary Jackson, otherwise known as the King of Poppins. Her wheeled nest is quickly ferried back into the shadows, and she is replaced by a strange pair who share a symbiotic relationship, the tall, slow-moving creepstalk and the more agile species known as the nimble sprightly. She has allowed him to share her space to assist her slow walking, choosing not to kick in his head with her long legs. The already beautiful display is soon enriched further by the antics of a male Tim Curry. With him comes an entourage of females to perform their unique dancing rituals for the audience. They play for a while, engaging the audience. Eventually, however, the freaks' circadian rhythms will align with the music in the air, and when the music shifts, a special part in each of their brains is activated. This will cause them to synchronize the process that scientists call cutting a mad rug. The Tim Curry's laughter call is a warning that the shift is about to take place. A brief moment of apparent calm as the freaks slow their metabolisms in mental preparation. It is then time for the highlight of today's display. Suddenly, they spring back to life. Their movements are rapid and complicated, but every part has its meaning. These particular species have the most prominent display because of their dancing proficiency. They are the ones the audience will see the most, and they are the ones most likely to get to mate. When the dance is finished, they instinctually embark on a death strut. The kicks of the greater Afroed clown are a fierce deterrent against would-be people's getting up in her grill, and the rhythmic movements of the greater breasted clown enable a fluidity of motion unrivaled outside this environment. The migration across stage is steady, but the skullhead's hoops force it to slowly graze across the open. She had better be careful, since she is being stalked by the masked Arista Muskrat and her Gigantograph. However, the watchful eye of the creepstalk has saved the day, as she inspires fear and awe in the other species. Satisfied that they've dominated their territory, and that they've done it with style, the two return and allow the zebranoid boxer and the bearded she-male to play. The boxer's playful love tap to the face is not a sign of aggression, it's more of a game, so the she-male enjoys it. Now this way trots a rare species known as the peekaboo horse. Her hooves are small and therefore hazardous in this environment, but she has excellent balance. Her mane must be removed, and she is obliged by her partner, a hermaphroditic spanky beast. She can now make bolder strides, and this leads her friend downstage to perform a most beautiful act. At this stage of her life cycle, the ovoid ragamuffin's upper body is encased in a protective cocoon, but she is surprisingly speedy. Totally mesmerized by this, a Devo fly follows her, careful not to stab her with her spines. But this season is not all about dancing, it is also about love. An unexpected match, once a male boast comes across a frilled-thighed frightener, the two will mate for life. On the lookout for danger is the highly alert double-headed Weaver. Her second head isn't real, it's just a decoy, and she must carefully avoid obstacles as she glides across the surface. Another pair, the striped hourglass and the unicron, are among the more graceful of these creatures. Their curves and frills are highly aerodynamic appendages. Meanwhile, in waddles the rambling imbecile, followed by a female trouserbot. The nimble sprightly stimulates the imbecile's timing mechanism, causing him to rapidly shoot out his legs. He's going to need all the help he can get, so the far more coordinated trouserbot performs smooth moves of her own. Possibly the most opposite costume designs in the display now emerge. The greater Afroed clown disturbs the audience into submission, reinforced by the fearsome piglet bat, which gets her name from her habit of wearing a pig fetus on her shoulder. Meanwhile, a greater cute polybo and a four-legged trippy bird have a brief kiss, and then are off to hypnotize the audience with floating decorations, a brief shimmy, and the trippy's 3 heads. A kickflip of the cane, and the Mary Jackson has returned, and blazing in her wake, so has the greater breasted clown. And it's just as well, since it enables a closer look at these fascinating species. And the last but certainly not the least of today's species appear next. The whipping jugglehead, and behind him, the shimmering wallflower. He flicks his tail to clear space, while her checkered coat scintillates in the spotlight. The Arista muskrat's riding crop and leash may seem cruel, but it's necessary, since the Gigantogiraffe is prone to unpredictable acts of insane violence. In fact, even these are not enough since she breaks free. Despite her obvious fear, the Arista muskrat remains poised, joined on stage by the skullhead. A brief moment of calm appears to enable the audience to regroup, and then, in a frenzy, all of the previous species re-emerge to ambush them. As a group, they share a black and white colour scheme to dazzle and attract the audience. Their markings have been of particular interest to scientists, but the brain-damaging patterns have made studying them difficult. In the final march of the freaks, there is now no time for much individual performance. They must keep to the flock and move fast. Occasionally, however, they break file to give the audience their own special gifts of entertainment. It's the last time the audience will be seeing them for many months, and their final display is nothing short of spectacular. And now, sadly, as fast as it began, the procession must come to an end. They return to their backstage home, shrouded in night. But not before the skullhead swoops down to finish the job, along with a small group forming the vanguard of this parade of species. The frightening yet maternal creepstalk incites the audience to enjoy the final moments of the season. Then the last freaks disappear into the dark, down the swirling eddy in center stage. But one could say, such is the cycle of life. See what I did there? Also, interestingly, it's not at all uncommon at this time to see these species mimicking others.
Alan! 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 Steve! 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 Nighttime! Daytime!
What are you doing?
Having a game of nighttime, daytime. You want to play?
David, can you turn that racket off, please?
Thank you.